Well, good morning, everybody. My name is State Senator Julia Coleman, and today I bring forth small business owners, a local school leader, and representatives of the business community who are at the Capitol today begging Democrats to take a pause, to bring their plan back to the drawing board, to bring these stakeholders back to the table, and to find a plan that will not crush our small businesses, make goods and services more expensive for every single Minnesotan. Don't get me wrong. We Republicans believe expanding access to paid family leave benefits is the right thing to do. Believe me, I'm the one who brought Republicans to the table on this issue. And in the last year, Republicans have brought forth 2 separate proposals to try to fill in the gaps for those who don't have access to paid family leave benefits right now. And while we believe expanding access to paid family leave is the right thing to do, we don't believe that the Democrats' one-size-fits-all mandate, a new tax, billions in spending, and a massive new government bureaucracy that will crush our small businesses, hurt our teacher shortage issue, and make life for Minnesota even tougher is the right way to go about it. So I would like to introduce people whose voices are being shut out right now. And I hope that Democrats today will come to the floor, willing to work with Republicans, because once again, our hand is reaching out across the aisle trying to find a solution to this, and we're being shut out. So I'd like to start by introducing Christine Fenner, President of the Waconia Area Chamber of Commerce.
Good morning. I'll be brief. Businesses, they want to be competitive and offer additional benefits to their employees. And like Senator Coleman said, paid leave is a good thing. It just needs to be a workable solution. Businesses are challenged by finding short-term employees, and that additional tax on an already increasing cost of doing business is tough. So coming together to find a workable solution is ultimately the best. Our labor market, we know, is extremely tight, and so it's important to do the right thing and do the cost analysis, figure out the finances of everything to come up with a plan that's workable for our small businesses, our hospitals, and our schools.
Introduce yourself.
Good morning. I'm Jody Tice from Paws and Pet Essentials in Waconia, and I'm here today watching things go back and forth. It's not something I normally do, is come out for this, but I've seen it. And I'm concerned as I've owned a business for 25 years. And being a small business owner, I have 2 full-time employees, 5 part-time. Right now, we're struggling to get employees. And then knowing that I'm going to have to train somebody in for a part-time position, the cost of training and getting people up to speed to be able to take positions. We try to cut that down because that could be up at $20,000 a year just by filling positions for people to be with you full and part-time. So I'm concerned on how this is going to affect my bottom line. How am I going to be able to continue staffing as it's a struggle already? So we're here just to be able to find out how is this going to affect us. Can we slow it down and put things into place for small businesses so that we're able to continue?
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Scott O'Brien. I'm from Shakopee. I own O'Brien's Public House down in Shakopee. I also own a real estate development firm out of St. Cloud, and we develop market rate apartments and assisted livings throughout the state. So we're worried, A, that the government continues to get larger and larger and larger, and it gets more and more difficult to get things done in this state. Another business crushing behemoth agency is not what we need. It's hard enough to compete for labor in this state as it is. Now we're going to take 500, 400 more people, which, let's face it, it's really going to probably be 800 people when it's all said and done. It's going to cost twice what they said it's going to cost. And it's really going to cripple a lot of businesses. For instance, if you've got an employee that you're paying, say, $25 an hour for as a home health aide, now that employee just is going to take 18 or 24 weeks off. Well, that person has to be replaced with agency. So that's $40 an hour. So the impact is great on all kinds of small businesses. I'm also a member of the foundation board at the St. Francis Regional Medical Center in Shakopee. I will tell you that this bill will hurt the hospital systems across the state. financially. So I think we've got plenty of government in this state, and I think we should work with the Republicans to find a workable solution to provide this benefit to our employees, but not be forced to through a new agency at the government. Thanks.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Mike Funk, Superintendent of Stillwater Area Public Schools. I've been a superintendent in Minnesota since 2005. I want to start out by thanking the legislature for their efforts to invest in education. The reduction of the special education and English language cross subsidies are long overdue, and we are grateful. We also appreciate the additional dollars being considered for the general education formula, though to be candid, they are not enough. Even if we were to receive 5% and 5% over the next 2 years with a future adjustment for inflation, much of this increase will be reduced by a number of new mandates. These unfunded requirements will leave districts with limited resources to meet the needs of our employees in this era of high inflation. Today, I want to talk about one of those proposed mandates, Senate File 2, the Paid Family and Medical Leave Insurance Program. First of all, I want to be clear. As a large employer, I am supportive of paid family and medical leave. I'll say that again. I'm supportive of paid family and medical leave. I'm also a veteran superintendent who is quite aware of the second and third order effects of bills such as this one, and I think this is something folks need to be aware of. Even though we have a historic surplus in Minnesota, we're being asked to pay for this program through a new tax. In Stillwater, the proposed annual cost of this bill from this tax to our school district is approximately $480,000. Half of this mandate, $240,000, will be paid annually by the district through a payroll tax. The other $240,000 will be paid by our employees. That's the known cost. The unknown cost is the financial impact on the district as we will be paying replacement employees wages of employees who are absent up to 24 weeks. There is no funding in this bill to assist in covering the replacement cost. So in addition to the payroll tax, we are compelled to pay for replacement staff with no additional funding from the state. With over 1,000 employees, the financial impact of this bill could be very significant and leave us less resources to compensate our employees fairly in other areas. Furthermore, with districts throughout the state already facing staffing shortages, we'll be challenged to fill some of these potential long-term positions with quality replacements. The opportunity cost to our students from this mandate could be significant. This is just one example of the mandates that school districts are facing. Though time is short, I encourage the legislature to come together and come up with a better solution for paid family and medical leave, provide relief from any of the proposed mandates, and fund education with a 5% and 5% over the next biennium with an adjustment for inflation moving forward. Provide us the resources to meet the needs of our staff and students at the local level without so many constraints. Thank you.
I think one thing that's important to mention too is that the Democrats' proposal greatly limits choice. In fact, it doesn't give choice. So say one of these small businesses want to offer 8 weeks of maternity leave at 100% pay. There's no guarantee they can continue to offer that plan. They need to go through this massive new government bureaucracy and get permission from the government in order to offer what I believe is a generous benefit. Or if a company is offering 16 weeks paid maternity leave and 8 weeks of paternity leave, they no longer can offer this plan. So at the end of the day, we've heard before, if you like your plan, you can keep your plan. And I'm not buying it then, and I'm not buying it now. Our plans offer so much more when it comes to choice, flexibility, and trying to fill in the gaps in the system. I want to thank everyone for coming early on a Monday morning to stress the urgency of our message here today, and I'm open for questions.
Dr. Funk, hopefully you were a math teacher, because I have some math questions for you. So it sounded like you thought your payroll tax for a year would be $240,000.
Correct.
What does the formula do for your school district? Say, what's each percentage increase in the formula, what would that equate to?
I don't have that off the top of my head, but I can tell you we have another mandate that we're looking at that unemployment insurance for hourly employees we are projecting that to be about 2% of the total increase that we'll be receiving. So if we were to get 5% next year, 2% of that will be eaten up by the hourly unemployment insurance. So the bigger concern I have is, we're talking about a historic investment in education, and that's what folks are going to be hearing about. But with this historic investment, there are significant ties or mandates that are going along with it that's going to be taking away a lot of the funding. And this is just one small example that we're talking about this morning.
Does your district currently have a 12-week leave offering, is that correct?
We offer leave, but I'll give you an example. We have, I had an employee last week who's first-year teacher. His wife is pregnant, wants to take 12 weeks, but they don't have enough sick leave built up to take the full 12 weeks paid. So that's where, I'm supportive of a concept where we can provide more paid medical leave for people so our employees aren't in situations such as that one. But they have to have the sick bank built up.
Where, you have talked about costs, so where would you propose that money should come from? The surplus or another tax or what?
Well, one of the concerns that we have throughout the states is local operating levies to fund education. And so is what you have seen over the past, well, since I've been a superintendent, is, we're getting, on an annual basis, we might get 2% a year out of the capital for funding. And that has not been able to keep up with the cost of inflation. So what districts are having to do is go to their local taxpayers and get them to pay for an increased operating referendum. And so it's paid for somehow, but it's more at the local level.
Several of the speakers talked about the cost of hiring temp workers to backfill, especially if there's a salary difference for the temps. I thought there was some provisions in the bill, some grant funding for businesses to help them offset some of those costs. Or is it not enough? Is it a concern that it's too much bureaucracy to get the reimbursements? Like, will you be offering amendments related to increasing that pot? Can you respond to that?
Yeah, absolutely. From what I've read now, given I think it's on its 8th or 9th engrossment, so I'll have to double check and get back to you, is it's minuscule. And that's what I've heard from small businesses as well, is they said this barely is a drop in the bucket for the costs that we're going to be experiencing while having to pay for the temporary employee and all of the salary, not to mention they'll have to go through a government bureaucracy to get that. And so at the end of the day, this is not the most efficient way to accomplish this, and it's crumbs that the small businesses are being thrown.
Senator Coleman, you mentioned amendments. Do you have a sense yet for how many amendments your side will be offering and how late this is going to go tonight?
Well, we do have caucus after this later today to finalize that plan, but I do know that we will be offering the Republican proposal, the one I brought before you around this time last year. We just believe that this is a good start. Let's give this plan a shot and see if it fills in the gaps in the system before we create this massive new bureaucracy, before we take away people's choice in their plans, and before we start taxing them even more than we already are.
One of the proposals in the House, I believe, was to raise the number of employees for a minimum. Would it be more palatable if it was, larger sized businesses that were the ones targeted by this?
Well, certainly anything that makes it more easy on small businesses is more palatable, but that's one of dozens of issues that we're talking about in this bill. So I don't think that would be enough to gain Republican support.
Senator, can you contrast your proposal with what Representative Baker came out with last week? They similar, he had this thing that I had not heard from your plan, this like that employees could buy insurance themselves if their employer was not. I don't know if you had that idea.
Absolutely. So Representative Baker has been fantastic to work on. He came to my office earlier this year and said, explain to me this plan. I want to know more about it. And what he does is build off that. So my plan from last year, it authorizes the creation of paid family leave insurance simply to exist in the state of Minnesota, partnered with tax credits for businesses with 50 or fewer employees to be able to afford paid family leave related expenses, whether that be training and hiring a new employee. I believe we set up to 80% of the premium cost for the insurance product. And it's really fantastic because each company can design the plan for what fits their company's unique needs. What Representative Baker's plan does is try to mitigate some of the concerns with the cost and the risk pool by taking the public employees and their benefits, having the state of Minnesota take that out to an RFP, and then they would be covered through the insurance, which would then create an option for businesses or individuals to buy into for that. I'm still learning all of the details of this plan. It's a big proposal that came last week, so I haven't really had time to fully digest it, but it sounds like it's another good idea out there.
I do have a question from John Croman. He's stuck in traffic, sorry. He wants to know, and this could be for Senator Coleman or any of the small businesses, won't employers also have temporary replacement costs even in the private insurance model like you suggested?
Yes, and that's where our plan to partner it with tax credits, I think we were going to give $3,000 per employee at a small business under 50 comes into play. And they can use those tax credits in a much more flexible way than the Democrats' plan. Anything related to paid family leave, pretty much qualified. Right. I have to get to conference committee, but thank you all so much for coming. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Guests head out.
Thanks.